Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Hadiza Atta, and this is your favorite channel, Africa Living with Hadiza, a channel where we talk about everything African, from our rich culture, our tradition, our history, our amazing travel, and of course our problems. And not only do we talk about those problems, but we try to seek out solutions for them. First of all, I want to say thank you to all my returning subscribers. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you for always coming back. And then for my new subscribers, passers by, if this is your first time passing through this channel or seeing this, if this kind of content resonates with you, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button and become a member of this big growing family. So last week we visited the NIGERIANS 100 Naira a day charity secondary school, and we saw the amazing work that is being done to ensure that quality education has become accessible to people from different walks of life, especially a lot of lesser incomed parents having the opportunity to take their children to schools where they have access to high quality education that gives them a chance in changing the course of their destiny in life, which I felt is just simply amazing. Today we're going to be sitting down with the owners, the brains behind the NIGERIANS Academy. They're going to be talking to us on how they conceptualize this idea, how they've been able to bring it to life in spite of the challenging Nigerian economy in which we live in. It will be so amazing if you watch this video to the end so you could see how you can support the school. Indeed, we know that Africa, Nigeria is rife with a lot of problems, but where we see solutions and we see the ability or opportunity to help out, it is a responsibility of each and every one of us as citizens of this great nation to do what we can to help. So sit back, relax. It promises to be a very interesting and enjoyable episode, and I shall see you at the end of the video.
All right, so my name is Irene Bangwell. I'm the co-founder of the NIGERIANS 100 Naira Day School in Kuje.
And my name is Kingsley Bangwell, co-founder of NIGERIANS 100 Naira Day School. I work for the lady just by my right.
All right, so the journey of the NIGERIANS school really started for me right after university. I was very passionate about supporting teachers. I wanted learning environments to be engaging. I am a believer that Nigerians have huge potential, and I feel like the classroom is a place that brings it out. Unfortunately, for many people, there's a lot of disconnection with school. So I just started out thinking how I could equip teachers and help them to have more engaging learning experiences in classrooms. And so in 2008, I started doing trainings. Training after training, I would go for a training, come back a few months later to assess, what's going on. And you'd find that they didn't even follow 1/3 of what you were saying. So after a whole lot of frustration, I got to this point where I think I just plateaued. I was discouraged. So Kingsley has always been on the receiving end of my frustrations. Like, I'm coming back from work, I'm throwing all the tantrums about the worksheet, about the things not working, the ideas that are not being implemented. And he would be like, hey, if you have an idea on how to do this thing, why don't you start your own school? But it was something I didn't want to do. I wanted to support. I felt like I'd reach more people, train teachers. So, but something happened to us in 2016. We had a witness. I had a witness that I needed to start a school. So I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm designing what the models will be, what all the exciting things we'll do in the school will be. I'm looking and I say, I want this thing to be for lower middle income, not middle income, lower middle income. And so I go to my husband, who happens to be an Ashoka fellow. I'm so excited that we're going to revolutionize education, really interesting. I'm pumped. And he looks at me and said, there's nothing special about it. That's what every other private school is saying. If you want to solve education's problem, take it to people who really need it. So I'm like, this guy is not serious. I wanted to build something that lower middle income could not afford. Think about giving an international type education to people who would ordinarily not afford it. And I thought that was cool until Kingsley says, no. Nigeria has, at the time, 10.4 million out of school children. Do it for the kids who can never pay for it. I'm like, you are nuts. And I said, how is it going to be fun? Is this going to be 100 Naira a day school? I said, hold on, who pays the teachers, who does this? Meanwhile, I had designed this amazing structure where kids could pay for books through rentals, so they didn't need to buy textbooks expensive. They could rent the textbooks, so you use return, another kid uses. I had a way where uniforms could be spread across 3 terms, so that people were not paying so much but the quality was really good. And for me, God knows that was good. That was good. Then this guy tells
At
me
how much? That was good. At how much?
it
And
was
for
going to
who?
be like 75K, 120K range. This uncle says no, take it to people who need it. I said, so who's going to fund it? He said, we're going to go online and we're going to ask people. I'm like, God forbid. How do I go online and beg for money? I could never beg anybody. Let's just say between 2019 and now is the way. We're now used to it. And it's really not begging. It's just pulling people together for a cause.
It's called fundraising.
It's called fundraising. And 4 years later, I've come to value this journey. Anyway, by the time we're starting in 2019, I was already there. It also occurred to me that, look, there are kids who desperately need this. They have potential, but their parents cannot afford to give them quality education. And so because of that, we'll never see their potential. And so that was why I went on this journey. But I can tell you the truth. It's been honestly worth it because Kingsley is on this seat. It's been worth it because, I mean, he came up with the idea of the 100 Naira in the first instance. Like, he's managing the craziness with me. We're in this together. So it's been worth it. So I get to lead the team on learning design, and he leads the team on how we find the box.
So yeah, the 109 Day School idea, it's something that is dear to our hearts. Like Irene had shared, we were passionate about education, but like she said, I said it should be an education that solves problem in the education sector. Otherwise, we're just going to set up another school and be happy about that. And so it actually took us 2 years of going back and forth, discussing, troubleshooting. She brings a proposal, I'll look at it and say, no, this is normal. And some of those discussions were passionate, let me use the word quarrelsome, because at the point I really felt like, yes, I mean, sometimes your voice was pretty high, and sometimes you felt like I was against your progress or something. I mean, I don't want her to make progress. I'm always studying down her ideas and all of that. I just said, look, Ashoka fellows, we like to do things
Excuse
that, I mean, it's a bragging right. We don't do normal things. We have to do things that are innovative, things that change the ecosystem, things that really. So eventually, when we got to a point where I felt like, yeah, this is something unique, and then we prayed. We also prayed a lot about it, and we had that leading. It should be for children from poorest household, and so normally the big question was, how do you raise money?
Yes.
So, and we introduced a 100 Naira concept to just say it's like a commitment fee. Pay something, show some seriousness. And for that 100 Naira, the kids will get books, uniform, lunch. The girls get sanitary pads every month. And we insist on computer and skill-based education. Our value proposition is that every child that graduates from the NOS school after 6 years should have what we call a tradable skill, a vocational skill with which they can advance themselves and break out of poverty. So we have all these grandiose big ideas. I mean, but the big question remains, who's going to fund it? So the model, as we prayed, the model we got was get people to adopt children, get people to sponsor a child at 66,000 a term, while the parents just contribute 100 Naira a day. And so with that, we can produce, make uniforms and provide all of those services. And that's how we started in 2019. I remember going out in this community, trying to market to akara sellers, Okada riders, corn sellers, granite sellers, and people were arguing with me that it's not possible to offer education at 100 Naira, and we are assuring them that their children will get books, uniform, lunch, sanitary pads, and all that. In fact, the woman asked me, are you a politician? I said no. Are you a footballer? I said no. She asked me, are you into oil business? I said no. Then she now said, are you a church? I said no. She said, then it's not possible. Where are you going to get the money from? I said, look, ma, people are going to support us and all of that. They didn't get it. But we started, first year, 30 children. We rented this facility, equipped it, put everything, and hired our first set of teachers in 2019, September, and did our admission process and brought in the first 30 children. And that first year, whole year, only one child got like full scholarship.
Sponsor, yeah.
Sponsorship, right? But people were contributing, donating 10,000, 5,000, this and that, food and all of that. So it was a lot of our money going in that first year, paying teachers and all of that. By the second year, we now had 63 kids or so, and just 5 got sponsorship. So it means a few more people are getting to know what we're doing and trust to put in their money. So it means again, donations coming here and there, but monies were coming in and all of that. But by the third year, we were now
82 children,
82 children, and our sponsorship drove up. We had about 30 children sponsored, 33 sponsored, and about 20 partially sponsored by a very popular philanthropist in Abuja called Ordinary President that runs the Human Rights Radio.
Yes.
He hosted us and supported 20 kids for a term or so. Now we have 107 children. And here's a big deal: about 90 or so are sponsored
right now
by different people.
Yes, from different walks of life.
Yeah, different. So we've seen different organizations coming to do. We've seen individuals coming to do. One of our biggest individual sponsor is doing 10 children, and he's doing that every year. That's about $1,980,000 for those 10 children.
Every year.
He's doing that every year. We have Island Members doing 3 children for 6 years. Yes. We have
Reliance HMO
doing 6 children for, I think,
Max.ng too.
Same thing, Max.ng, first bike hailing business in Nigeria that is in Lagos. They are doing 3 children also, multi-year. So we are seeing those kind of partnerships are coming. Then we have individuals who are doing 3 children, 2 children, 1 child.
Yes.
That's coming in, and people coming in, giving us food items and all of that. So it's been an interesting journey in the last 4 years. For us, a breakthrough is that we've now gotten a plot of land, 7,900 square meter plot of land here in Kuje. And we're trusting God to start building by end of the year.
Yes.
We're asking people to come donate classroom, donate hostel, donate whatever. We want to build a 400 school capacity where we can have 400 children and 300 will be hostel. So we have a 300 bed hostel. Then in the school, we also have a skill center, because one of our value proposition is the kids who live with skills. So we can't do that here because of the space, right? So, but in the school now, we are going to be able to build a vocational center where the kids can learn different things and also digital skills, right? In that school also where we're building, we're going to have a video studio, because we have a lot of creatives here. So they can create content and all of that. So that's the kind of thing we're trying to build. Irene is passionate about literacy. So we will have a literacy center in the school where children who are struggling to read and write. We have a lot of out of school children. I always say they are out of school, but they are not out of talent. They are out of school, they are not out of intellect. They are out of school, they are not out of capacity to learn. So we just need to bring them into where they can learn. So we're going to have a literacy center in the school also. So the kids that are not proper in school but are interested to learn can come for free. Learn how to read, learn how to write, learn how to speak, and position themselves to be able to get into school. So these are some of the things that is going on here at the North School. It's a mix of madness,
it is,
right? But it's powered by faith. It's powered by faith. We know God has asked us to do this, and so we just step out every other day doing this and just trusting one way or the other that support is coming and it's helping us do this.
I would like to talk about what the journey has been like educating the kids themselves. The thing with bringing kids from low-income families, kids who've been out to school or at risk of dropping out, is that the curriculum is not where they are. The curriculum makes assumptions about prerequisite skills that they believe they have before they come. So it's been a journey innovating on the education in order for it to be valuable to a child who was already cut off. So our JSC result, for instance, is such a big deal to us because many of these kids came in JSS1, they're not reading fluently. So when I say they're not reading fluently, what I mean is they can read words for those ones who could read, but they can't read it as though they were reading a sentence. We just read it individually. So comprehension is not associated with reading. And so it's been a very interesting thing, just sitting down and not saying this is how schools run, but started saying, what should learning look like for this child right now? So we would have kids, they can't read, and we're saying, all right, everybody, we're starting storybook reading, 7:30 to a.m. every morning, 2:30 to 3 p.m. And in the first year, people asking us, can I donate books to you? Textbooks, we say no, storybooks. They need to understand stories to understand textbooks. And so we are asking for, my children were upset because I literally took their entire library at home and I brought it to school, and they'll say everything, we don't see you anymore since Knock started. Now we don't see our storybooks anymore. I'm talking about bringing kids that their handwriting is a problem, and you start to do handwriting in secondary school. And people say, well, they don't do handwriting in secondary school. No, you do handwriting wherever children struggle to write. So it's been a very innovative space for me. There's an oxygen I get from NOS because it's like my field, it's like my playground. What other, if I try to convince another school to do, they'll say, oh, it won't work. Man, the book stops at my table in a way here, so I can innovate. So for example, I've always had a problem with kids writing notes in class, because as far as I'm concerned, 40 minutes learning time, we spend 25 minutes, 30 minutes writing notes. Of what value is it to the child? So, and then some teachers even send notes for photocopy and ask the kids to copy it down. And the thing is, when inspectors walk in here, they're impressed with the notes. But does the notes mean children are learning? The answer is no. So we've been able to introduce workbooks where notes are already present in the class. The teacher now spends 40 minutes teaching, giving classwork. So here at the NOSK, everybody does classwork in every subject. When we went to school, it was math
just
and
to break
English.
that down.
Yes.
When you're saying the notes are here, it means that the workbook
contains the notes
that
already.
the students should have written or copied. It contains the notes the teacher will have written on the board.
It's already in the workbook.
So what that means, the teacher now have enough time to interact with the students, and the students also have enough time to interact with the teachers. So with that, for us, that's a big deal. And so we have homework preset in that workbook. So you know, sometimes I've taught a couple of years. So you're standing in the class and you say, oh, I'm supposed to give homework. You don't always have quality homework in your head to give in that instance. But now the workbook allows you plan homework ahead, take home assignment. But then there's also a part where the kids give us feedback in the workbook. If they didn't understand the lesson, they will indicate. Now we also have a dashboard, an online dashboard, a spreadsheet where everybody populates their lessons every day. So I can step back and look at JSS1 and see all their subject. What did they learn today? What was the classwork given? How did they do? So the teachers can look at the dashboard and know when a topic they taught needs to be retaught. So here we say it's in the best interest of the child. Don't tell me you're trying to cover the syllabus when the kids have not even resumed school. So we have to be where the kids are supposed to be. So the hackathon you witnessed today is part of our approach to learning, which allows kids experience what they're studying. So in the last school year, they've been learning about West African history and Southwestern history. You know, you can give them exams to write and pass, but it won't be the same thing as building tourist sites, doing research. Now, they've gone beyond whatever we had taught them to more. So why are we doing this? For the middle class families, we always say, between travel, parents' exposure, and all kinds of things kind of level out. But these kids grow up with such limited exposure, they have such limited view of what's possible. And so if you're designing learning for kids from low-income families, we believe that you have to incorporate so much value into their learning. And so it's been 4 school years. Today marks the last day of our 4th school year, and I assure you that this adventure has been worth it. We're grateful to the teachers who've come with us on this journey. For example, they always know that there's one learning adventure or the other. By September, we're starting a new learning adventure, a new way of teaching, a new approach to the curriculum and everything. I'm grateful to have teachers who care. For example, the lady that won the award for Best Teacher, Miss Fumi, one of our teacher trainings, she was almost crying. She said, Ma, I'm trying to teach this concept. They don't even know this. And to know that they don't even know this. And to know that they don't even know this. She said, Ma, what do I do? I said, go all the way back to where they are. She said, that means I'm leaving the curriculum completely. I say, yes. We're here to teach the child. If you go all the way back, then you can accelerate at some point, because the prerequisite skills is there to teach and do that. So it's been exciting. So it's fulfilling. It's amazing. I'm looking at our result and I'm saying 35 out of 45 kids had a C in math. Wow.
And then the remaining 13 had a P, and government says we should promote them on a P, but we don't do that. So some of the kids that are repeating are not required by government to repeat, but we're requiring for them to, because government is used to let my people go.
Yeah.
That doesn't solve the problem. So it's two-way. We don't just tell kids to repeat because they're not doing well, but also doing our own audit.
Yeah.
Did we teach enough? Did we do well? What's changing? If the child comes, what's the support they're going to get? We can't be back here one school year from now and be telling stories on the child. So we need to do our own review. Some people are going to leave the team because they're not able to adapt. So you see, it's exciting doing this, but I'm grateful to God because He's been present, helping us, giving us grace in different seasons, and we've come this far strictly by His grace. I want to thank you for watching the video all the way up till this point. If you've watched up to this point, then it means you like what we're doing and you like to be a part of it. So there are 4 ways that you can support kids here at the NOS School. So first and foremost, the children that come to the NOS School pay 100 Naira a day as fees, and for 100 Naira a day they get books, uniform, lunch. The girls get supplies of monthly sanitary pads, and then a STEM-based education. When they pay 100 Naira, that comes to just 6,000 Naira. So that doesn't get the job done with paying teacher's salary and all of that, running the food program. So what it really takes for us to keep one child in school a term is 80,000 Naira and 240,000 Naira a year. So the first way you can support us is by sponsoring a child. But no worries, we have a unique way that you can support a child. That means you don't need to pay the entire sum. You can be a co-sponsor. That means you can contribute an amount of your choice towards the education of a child. And when you do that, you'll get the child's midterm report and end of term report across the terms that you sponsor them. The second way you can support us is with supporting our teachers.
Yeah.
It takes teachers to have a project like this running. So we have many individuals and organizations making donations specifically to teacher welfare.
Yeah.
And by teacher welfare, we mean teacher salaries and so on and so forth. The third way you can support us is definitely our feeding program.
Yeah.
For many children from low-income family, the journey to school is far and breakfast is not always available. So we try to make sure that there's at least one meal every day in school that incentivizes them to make it to school.
Yeah.
So you can support us, support our feeding program in cash or in kind. Finally, we're building. And so I'm going to pass the mic to the guy who knows how to talk about the building project.
All right, so thanks for watching thus far. In terms of our partnership and our school building project, before I talk about that, let me just ask this question. Did classroom contribute to what your life has become today? Of course, yes. Yes. That ability to learn to read, to write, to communicate has, positioned you and placed you in a place you could take advantage of opportunities that came your way. And some of us have gone global. We're speaking to a son when we're trying to start the school. He nearly broke down. The reason was that he was supposed to end up as a farm boy, but it was just that opportunity to go to school in the village, transform his life, and today he's a son. So there is power in classrooms. Classrooms transform people and unleash their potential and shape their future. And that's what we're asking people to help us to do. Give back and join us to build classrooms at the NOS School. Over the next 3 years, we need to build 18 classrooms. Over the next 3 years, starting from 2023, we need to build 18 classrooms. We also need to build 4 hostel residences. And so with the 18 classrooms, we can have up to 400 to 450 children at the NOS School. And with our 4 blocks of hostels, we can have 300 boys and girls, 150 boys, 150 girls, and also a resident for teachers. These 2 things are very strategic for us over the next 2-3 years. If you're also passionate about literacy, we want to build a literacy center, and we also want to build a skills hub. Some of those children are big, hands-on technical stuff. So as they get education, we also want to empower them with livelihood, 21st century in-demand skills. So you can support us to build, technical vocational skills center. So these are the areas you can support us. Strategically over the next 3 years, we want to build classrooms, we want to build hostels, we want to build a literacy center. We also want to build the vocational skills center. We already have a 7,900 square meters land right here in Kuje, and we're happy to start building once the rains are over in 2023. From October, we want to start working. The good news is that people have already started joining that project. The Island Embassy has also actually signed an MOU with us to contribute to building the computer lab. a 10,000 euro MOU, and they've released the money already. So it's not just promise, they've released the money. So we're happy to start building in October. We also have someone that has decided to build one classroom in the name of himself and his wife. It's 4 million to build a classroom and furnish it. And so if you decide to do that, or there are other ways you may even want to support the building project that I may not have mentioned, feel free to reach out to us. We're able to have conversation with you. We have the designs ready, and be sure that if you contribute to it, you're going to get a lot of credit. If you want us to brand a class with your picture and your family, your great grandfather, and whatever, look, and there's something about that kind of a legacy. Let me end by saying, if you spend $10,000 possibly buy a wristwatch or buy a car in the next 4 or 5 years, imagine what the value will be. But if you spend that to build a classroom, in the next 10, 20 years, that classroom will still be there, and thousands of young people will have passed through it and become, future talents and change makers. So there is legacy in supporting building a classroom or a hostel or the literacy center or the vocational skills center. Whichever one you feel strongly about, we're happy to partner with you to, do this project. And we know that as we invest in these children, we're investing in our own nation, we're investing in our own future, we're investing in a greater Nigeria.
So if you'd like to reach out to us, which you should, you can reach out to us using these numbers: 080-9045-9999 or 090-3333 again 8510. If you're watching this from outside Nigeria, remember to use the code +234. You can also visit our website on noskeducation.org. You'll be scrolling somewhere on the screen. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at NOSK Education. Anywhere you search for NOSK 100 Naira Day School, we're certain it will lead you to social media material from us. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.
This brings us to the end of our video. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched so far. I know that the video is rather long, but it is very necessary. You have heard directly from the mouths of the founders. This school is something that is built on passion, built on love, and built on the desire to see better for our nation and for every single one of us. And the state of the country right now is in a very critical one that calls for an overhaul in all of our processes. And from listening to the ideas that they have, listening to the different strategies through which they are tackling education, we can see that they are doing something amazingly different from what is the norm, and it behooves everybody to support this school as much as you can. If you live in Nigeria and you would like to support, the details of the school project will be scrolling on the screen right now. And if you also live outside of Nigeria, there is a link that will be posted, and the link will also be in the description box that you can follow and navigate how you can support this school. None of us could be doing what we are doing today, making a difference and making a change in the world, if we didn't have the opportunity to get educated. So give that opportunity today to a child who has nothing to give you back in return aside from the betterment of our society. And what more could we really ask for? Thank you so much for watching. If you have not seen the last video before this one, the link will be up there, and I would like you to click on it right now, and I shall see you there.